All right, so we are on part 2 of our Quick Capture Campus Mapping project. So our first step, you've chosen your points, lines, and polygons and what you're going to map for that. And so now we want to start. We're going into content here. And we need to do all of our setup for our Quick Capture Campus Mapping project. All right, so we need to first create a feature layer in our account. So the way we do that is just like we make all feature layers, editable feature layers or data feature layers, feature services, we are going to start with new item. We are going to pick a feature layer. We want to define our own layer next. Now, in our layer 1, we want to specify the name of the item we are mapping and then what type of layer it is. So you are going to have 3 different things here. So I'm going to put my item name here. So whether that's sports fields, maybe I'm mapping all the sports fields for my polygon layer, and then I want to make a polygon layer. Then I hit add and I can layer something else. Maybe I'm doing handicap parking spaces for my point layer. Maybe I am doing fences for my line layer. And so notice I have a polygon layer, a point layer, and a line layer right here. So once I do all that, I want to next. I'm going to name this my campus capture project with my initials and period. And I'm going to save it. So once it saves, it opens up to this info, this item info layer. So here's where I am. If you somehow lost this, you can go into content, open that campus capture project, and go ahead and get to this page. Once you're on this page, you can see you have data, visualization, usage, and settings for this feature layer. So I go into settings to start. I am going to edit the extent, all right? And I want to set my location as South Lakes High School. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to wait for this to load in. And I'm going to zoom in. I don't need this much. I need to get myself zoomed into Reston and South Lakes. Let it just come right in here. And I can move this box all around. And actually, I can do that. I can also do this. South Lakes High School in my search bar. And it takes me right here and gives me an extent of my map. So I want to make sure I've got all the area I need. I am not going to go off campus for this because we need to stay safe. So we're going to stay on South Lakes campus so I can really bring it down here. But this will be the extent of my area for this campus capture. And I save that. All right, step 2. The next step is we need to configure the feature layer. Where we do that is up here in data. So we go to data. And we go over here to fields. So here is all of our fields. All right, so we have for each layer, we have a polygon, we have a point, and we have a line. So for each one of these, I need to do the following, okay? So I'm in fields. So for each one of my layers, so notice up here in layer, I have sports fields, I have handicap parking spaces, and I have fences as my line data. So for each one, see, I'm going to start with sports fields. That's my polygon layer. I need to add. What I need to do is my field name matches the display name, but must contain no spaces. That's how the Esri software works. So I am just going to call it sports fields. That's fine, but with no spaces, okay? A good way to do it is to put an underscore there, all right? Now, what the display name is, let's make it look like how we want it to look. So now I don't want the underscore. That's just for the software to understand it. The type is string. That means it's a text, okay? And we don't need 256 characters. 25 will definitely do it, okay? So you see in your document or in this video what we have there. You can leave it all and leave it there. I want to add the new field. Looks just like this. All right, now I want you to go through, and I want you to also do the same thing for your handicap parking places ad and for your line data. Your line data and your point data, do the same thing. Once you've done that, pause the video. Once you've done that, now we need to go in and we can change our symbols for each one. So we do that by going into visualization. We will also be able to do this once we bring our data into a map. You'll have a change style. You'll be able to change the symbols again if you change your mind. But let's go in and do it once through here in our setup. So notice how even though we're in settings, we're setting up our project, it looks very similar to how it looks in your actual map. So for our sports fields or our polygon layer that we're using, we can go into change style. We could look at any of these, but we're going to do show location only, and I can change it to any color, any background I want. I'm going to think about what my aesthetic is going to be, and again, you'll be able to go back in and change this again as you're making your map, but I'm just kind of get a feel for it. What do I want my transparency to be? Maybe a little bit transparent for my sports field so I can see that imagery-based map or something also through it. So I go through, I say okay, I say done. That's my polygon layer. All right, now I'm going to do my point. Oh, good point. So we're going to need, notice in the video, we are going to need to save those changes. So I come back, my sports fields. So I made those changes in visualization. And each time you make a change like that, you want to save that layer, okay? And save it all in the same layer. So let's do handicapped or my point data. You might be doing blue cars or red cars or something else. And again, I can come in here. I can go into change style, go into my options. I'm kind of, I guess, picking kind of a, let's see, handicap parking places. So I can go in, kind of figure out what kind of thing do I want, okay? So some kind of a symbol, kind of want to make them pretty big. All right, I'm going to keep my transparency the way it is. I'm going to say okay, I'm going to say done, and before I move on, I am saving this layer over here in the upper right. Moving on, I'm also going to do my line layer. I do want to save my changes. And I'm going to take that line layer and I'm going to choose another, choose something else that I want to do with it. So you can choose whatever you want your symbology to be. So notice I went in, I chose a different pattern. If you're doing something that makes sense to have arrows, you can choose arrows. You can mess around with your transparency. I chose a dashed line for my fences in a little bit different color, a thicker line. But again, I can mess around with this once we're in the actual map too. I'm going to save this layer. And here we go. All right. Step 4. Now we're in my content. I just came out of here. I went to content. You see my campus capture project. I've done all my setups. Now we need to configure our quick capture project on our laptop. What we've done here is made the feature layer that we're going to pull into our quick capture app on our phone. But all we have here is the feature layer with our line, polygon, and point. Editable feature layer is what we've made. We don't have any data in it yet. We're going to go collect that data with the quick capture app. So the way we do that, I'm in my content here. I go to the waffle and I want to find quick capture. So it looks just like the app icon. I open my quick capture and I'm going to start a new project. So I go to the upper right. I start a new project. I want to start from existing layers because I already have a layer. All right. I'm going to start with my campus capture project right here. I grab it. Next. So we grab our campus capture, we say next. This is what I should get. My campus capture project, I'm gonna add it 2024 since I make it more years than you guys do. And you can just leave it like that, save in folder, like leave all that alone. Don't worry about the email or anything. We're gonna create that project. And then what we end up seeing here is the setup that our phone is going to have. Okay, so we want to do a couple different things. Okay, step 4, we're configuring our quick capture project in the waffle. So we have this, we've created the project. For the line and the polygon and the point layers, you can add an image. So if I highlight my one here, I can go over, I can go to my data. Let me do it in the order that it's in here. So appearance, okay. All right, if we wanted to add an image, I can do what I want. So say it's sports fields, like is there something I want to add that gives me a nice image here? So you can look around. Yeah, I'm gonna put a ball. Sure, right there. So that just gives me something. You can look around and pick which one you want to be in your project, okay? So we can also do that so in our sports fields here, we can add our image that we want in the display. We also want to save, hit save. For our new features for our handicap, now I've highlighted my handicap parking spaces, my point layer, whatever your points are. We could do an image. We already have a nice image there, added that. We also want to go into data, and for this one, we want to show the camera because we want to be able to take a photo. You could take a video. That would take a lot more room to store, so I maybe wouldn't recommend that, but you can think about that for your final project. Like, do you want to be able to store things? But we're going to go ahead and have the photo available for our point layer so that we can set that up, okay? So for point only, we want to be sure, we want to show the camera, we want to show the photo is on, we want to save it. I also want you to notice that we're here, the handicap parking spaces for my campus capture project is highlighted in data. If I go up to sports fields, my sports fields is the target feature layer. For fences, my fences layer. So that's just kind of checking that we can see that, okay? So I'm also gonna go ahead. In appearance, I haven't added an image for fences. Let me go into my gallery and sort of figure something out. If there's anything I like really quickly off the bat. And I found something quickly that'll work. So something that looks like a fence. So anyway, you guys spend a little more time looking through that. And I do everything. I have that set up. Looks good. Now I hit save. All right, so now my project is ready to go and it is saved. I can leave my sharing and I would be able, if I was gonna share it and like be working with a partner or something, I could share it to someone else. You guys can just leave it. You don't need to change your sharing, but if you wanted to share it with your company or something so everybody could be in that project, like collecting data for you, that'd be great. For now, you guys are all doing this individually, so you can just leave it alone, just you. All right, so that is our setup. You should be all set. Now you can go into your Quick Capture app and you will be ready to collect data. Notice how on the handicap, the point layer, you have a camera available. When you take data, it will prompt you, do you want to add a picture? And you can take a picture of that one thing. All right, sounds good. All right, so you've gotten your setup all done. The next part of this is a different document, parts 3 and 4. Part 3 is the data collection. So we will do that hopefully next class or someday when it's sort of warm and nice weather. And you'll go into your phone, you'll log in just like we did when Mrs. Karen was here, when JMU was here. You'll find your campus capture project from this year and download it, browse it, you'll be all set. You will be able to collect all of your data. And then once you do all that, you'll be ready to come back in and you will create a map of your data collection. So it'll be a map of South Lakes High School. You'll open a new map in ArcGIS Online. Each of your layers is going to have data. It's going to have polygons will have like shape. You'll have like square meters. Your lines will have a length in default as meters. Your points will have a location. So you'll have a little bit of data here. I want you to add a couple map notes. Put in something good memory you have, at least 2. Was there a place in the school approximately where you got a good grade on a test, you felt proud of yourself? Was there a place that you made a goal in a game? Style those places, style those map notes. Put a description of what happened. Make this project your own, really make it personal. And place where you met your best friend, something like that. So something personal, not too private, but something that makes it interesting and personal to you for South Lakes. All right, add any other flourishes, make your map your own. I want you to also find the data in your attribute table. Look at the length and the area. You may have to go into, in your attribute table, there's 3 little lines like here. Open those up and turn on all of the columns. You may have to do that once you get all your data into your map. Sometimes it doesn't turn on itself. Now your statistics window is going to be available and you can get the information that you need from here. So in ArcGIS, the default should be meters squared. Sometimes we have a little bit of issues with that, but make the assumption that your default is in meters or meters squared for polygon areas, meters for length for your line data. What is the total area covered by your polygons? That would be the sum in your statistics window. What is the average? That should also be in the statistics window for your shape area column. Then also do the same for lines. What's the total length of all the lines? The sum. What is the average length of your lines? Again, assuming meters and meters squared. Get your units right. Get your units right for this. That's important. Then what I want you to do is take a screenshot of your map. Make sure you have your legend showing. And I want you to paste it in here on your login. Paste it into here. Then I want you to also click on here and turn in your URL to me of your map. Don't need to put it in a web app or anything. I just want to see the map. Then it is important, you need to complete the rubric below. Make sure that you have done everything. I want you, I've got it. Yep, I've got it. I'm still missing some elements. Talk a little bit about what decisions you made, just briefly, on the left-hand side. Oh, if you realize you're missing some elements, make a note over here. Okay? All right, and then turn this document in, submit it, and also everything should be turned into the link here, and you're all set. You're done with your project. I look forward to seeing them.